Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first weekly state of the game for the Greenskin Gaming Thursday Custom Nations multiplayer here in Europa Universalis 4. Today, I am joined by Cookie and Swert.
Hi
Hello
guys,
there.
I'm Cookie and I'm playing the sheep lovers in today's Custom Nations game.
I do apologize, you're a little hard to see on the map because the white doesn't show up super well, so I'm like circling your area right now.
Yeah, I'm stuck in the Moluccas, being a bunch of islands.
Yeah. Instead of stucking on some small islands, I am playing Tadast in Iberia, and I have the beautiful golden color on the map.
So basically, you're playing a custom Spain.
I am playing a hybrid nation of Carthage and Rome in Iberia.
Oh, interesting. The successor state.
Yeah, the successor state of the former New Carthage in Iberia.
Very nice. And I am playing the nation known as the United Merchant Guilds up in Britain. Surprise, surprise. It's like my favorite place to play anymore, especially since Rule Britannia dropped all the coal in Britain. It's glorious.
I agree on that.
Let's see. So what else? We have PTZ is one of our players in the lowlands. He's playing, I believe his nation is Windmills.
Yep,
Windmills.
And then we have the Shia North German Federation, which just
Had a pretty bad start because according to our player, it didn't show up in the piece that he would get a coalition, and then he got coalition into oblivion. But I think he will stand up right now because he got a pretty big donation from me, like 500 ducats early on, which may be enough to put him back on his feet.
That'll be interesting to see if he can recover. I do remember looking over and seeing, like, what was that, a 15-20 nation coalition?
Yeah, it was like, I think 10 or 15 nations.
It was just like, oh, suddenly there's, yeah. So, south of that, we have, what is Maki's nation called again?
Quebecistan.
Quebecistan, and he's a Shia republic, right?
Yeah, I think his nation name is kind of funny because it's like a meme in Quebec, according to him, with his idea set focused on his usual style of gaming, like development cost, goods produced, like the usual economic loan powerhouse.
Oh, for sure. That's how Maki always plays. Who's the nation further east of that? I can't remember.
The Greek Knights or Lercan.
Imperium
Lercan.
Romana.
Lercan.
You skipped Lercan.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lercan,
Lercan.
yeah.
Lercan is played by Davitor, I think. It has a pretty strong idea set, to be honest. I think it's one of the better ones in late game. And he's in a good spot right now. I think he got Danzig, for example. And he has a pretty good tech right now.
Very nice. Then,
But he has the problem of Caradel right next to him.
That's true. I should sorry to cut you off, Swert, but I should make mention here at the start, we are playing with completely randomized nations. That being said, they are historical, so, like, for example, Caradel is in Poland, Lithuania, and they're massive and kind of terrifying.
And Hungary. Don't forget all of Hungary.
Oh, yes, that's right. They own all of Hungary. It's terrifying. So, further east, we have Imperium Romanus, you said, Cookie?
In the south in
no,
Italy.
is Empire of the Rus.
Empire of the Rus, that's right. That's right, and that's Dutch, isn't it?
Yep,
Yeah, it's Dutch.
Surprise, surprise.
He got a pretty interesting idea set in my eyes. He went like full Russia with more states, more force limit, more people. It's like the incarnation of Russia in an idea set.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Dutch always usually ends up in the Russian region somehow.
Yep.
All right, so we have you're in Iberia, and then oh god, who's the nation in the south of France?
The Wineland, played
Wineland.
by Ice Andreas.
It's an interesting
Wineland got
color.
a I think it's really fitting to the theme of his country, like wine, red wine.
Yeah, it's a really funny country if you read the descriptions. I'll see if I
And
can
when you are
remember.
drunk, you move in a more unpredictable way and are moves harder to hit. Fire damage received -10%. Or the
that's
more wine you
awesome.
drink, the better strategies you make for one additional army tradition. It's I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
core one.
amazing.
Patriotic propaganda. Throw those boring papers out and have a drink instead. -4 question cost.
Oh, I really wish I'd like put names on mine now. Kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, like all of these are really good. Like the last one, accuracy training. If you lube the inside of the barrel with wine, the bolt will exit at a faster velocity.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great. I'm guessing he's gonna try and dominate the global wine trade then.
I would presume so. We actually had do we have like 2 nations teamed around a resource? I think it's Wineland and Lurkan.
What's Laircan themed around?
Erkan is at cloth. The cloth cannons.
Yeah, like they start out like fairly, reasonable, being about uniforms and producing cloths and stuff, and then it's like ends up with cloth cannons, with leather cannon proving too heavy. We're the first nation in the world to field cloth cannons. Where these mad inventions take us, only time will tell.
Oh,
think
that is awesome.
The one before is that they, through burning cloth, somehow gained a psychic ability to control cloth and fire. I don't know, it doesn't make sense at all, but it's hilarious.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh, and this is why Custom Nations is just amazing. I do feel bad for not naming my stuff. But regardless, we also have an Italian player as well. I think he's like trying to be the successor of Rome or something.
He's actually the successor of Rome because he actually has the primary culture of Roman.
Ah, that's a bold choice.
Yeah, I think he got a fairly interesting idea set compared to most other players, like with Arura starting with less aggressive expansion and tech cost. And he's on a pretty good spot right now. I think his power spike will hit once the Shadow Kingdom fires, where he finally gets to conquer the north of Italy. And he got a pretty good starting ruler with 446. And he's 59 years old right now.
Damn, that's pretty
Which
good.
is really...
Does the Shadow Kingdom fire?
I mean, the HRE exists, so...
I think Imperium Romanum is not in the in the Empire, so I think Shadow Kingdom will fire.
Yeah, I think so, but I imagine it is. It will fire. I don't think any trigger conditions will grant it to, but I don't know.
I'm just sad
Perfect.
the HRE exists.
Yeah, just like it as well. Furthermore, we have the Greek Knights over there in the Balkan area and starting to spread into Anatolia, played by Quizards, who is like a successor state of the Prester John meme. I really like it. And I think his idea set is kind of unique. He went full cavalry combat.
Oh god,
But
really?
I think he did I think he stated it himself that he did a small mistake when calculating stuff, because I think after the first era, he's not able to field full cavalry armies with Orthodox.
I think that's good for him, though, realistically.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, by the time we hit Tech 10, his army's just going to be melting, or like Tech 12, and once we get up to cannons, it's just going to melt.
Yeah.
I mean, all Cav can actually be really, really good early on. But if you can afford the money, because early on money is actually a concern when it comes to armies. But late game, they'll probably melt. But I think like it's a bit later than you say. I think it's like at Tech 16 when artillery starts doing some damage and cavalry tapers off. Until then, I do think his armor composition will be really effective.
Third, he's behind in tech though. He's at 556 right now. He has an 052 ruler,
Ooh.
and he's a tribal federation as well.
Oh, so he got the core creation cost from it?
Yep, I think he got a really unique style in the game. I really dig it. But the problem is that I think he's running more or less against the clock with his idea set. because at some point I think his ideas will fall off short compared to Lerkan, the North German Federation, the Windmill Nation, or even Quebekistan, because he has no fire damage in his ideas. That will hurt him a lot.
I think a
Yeah.
typical cav set should, and I think a typical cav set probably stronger because it actually has the early boon, but he put like all his cavalry stuff and shock damage and minus fire damage received at the end, so he has like
Ooh.
really, really high numbers. He'll have like minus 20% fire damage, plus 20% cav combat, and plus 50% shock, so we'll see where he ends up.
I mean, that's
Except
still
for-
pretty solid. I mean, if it was me, I probably would have spaced those out a little more, not just have them all clumped up at the end.
Yeah, if I was running a cav nation, I would probably just run it as like an early force and try to gain a huge edge from it early, but we'll see if this works out. I imagine it'll taper off still, but a little bit later than a normal cav build would.
Yeah, it's still going to be interesting to see. Then we have a nation over in Anatolia, another Shia republic.
I should name it because I think I'm the only one able to spell it.
Exactly.
Streichholzschächtelchen. It's by
Can
a
you
guy.
say that again, but slower?
Streichholzschächtelchen.
I'm not even going to try.
It means, I think, lighter box in English, like the small pieces of wood you light up to light up a cigarette or a candle.
Oh, I see what you mean. Matches.
Yeah, he has a pretty well-rounded set. I think it's one of Cookie's sets, and I improved it a bit.
Made it worse, you mean? Yes.
No, I improved it a bit because, but I think the problem is that he's quite new to the game, and he got a pretty unlucky start, and Cuisat's really abused it early on, and I think it hurts him a lot. He will sit out the next session as well because he's not there. And I think his nation is in an okay-ish spot, but I don't think he can contest the top spots because his ideas are, I think, a bit above average, but they are not good enough to make a difference compared to Cuisat's ideas.
Yeah, I mean, if Florian's not gonna be here next session, I get the feeling Cuisat's is kind of just gonna hug box him by himself, just like annex land all the way around him.
Yep.
So we do. Oh, go ahead, Swert. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the nation of Allah. Sorry if I offended anyone. Is not played anymore. It started off as a player nation in the Crimea region, in the Ruthenia region. I don't know the region right now. Let me check.
I think it is Crimea,
The
actually.
Pontic Steppe. Pontic Steppe, it's called. It got an okay-ish idea set. Nothing spectacular in my eyes.
I think it has like a really weak set. It has almost no military bonuses, only like reducing the cost to military units and reducing attrition and stuff like that. So
I would call it.
I would call it the weakest set of all the player nations in the game, actually.
Same. I would call it the weakest set overall.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it, but
I wouldn't fully agree with it. I would set it close to the nation of Basals in the Bengal area, who got a different kind of set, but he has the same problem with no real infantry or cannon boobs for most of it.
Well, I mean, that's a fairly decent segue into India since you mentioned Bengal. I mean, we were skipping Persia and Arabia, but we'll come back to them momentarily. So, I mean, we only have 2 people in India, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sphinx in jungle people and Besedals. I don't know who's playing them actually.
Besedals is played by Phoenix King, and the jungle people are played by what's his name?
Swings.
Or whatever you want.
Swings.
Yeah.
Swings.
And jungle people are off to a really, really strong start here. I think they are like they are the highest great power in the world by like 70 development, and they have a really strong ID set to boot.
They own like a third of India already.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to to me they've already secured most of India and will grow to be a real dominant power. Regarding Besedels, their ID set is a little bit more odd to me. Like, there are some things that don't really make sense to me, like light ship combat ability plus 10% with no other ship stuff, national unrest minus 1%. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I don't think it's as weak as Allah, since it has some force limit and some infantry combat and a few decent economic boosts, but it's a really quite odd set. And if these two players or nations come against each other, I'm expecting Jungle People to just roll over the Citadels.
Yeah, we can see it. Like you said, though, I think Jungle People is just going to grow to be the dominant power in the East.
They're really scary, actually, because I think their idea set is actually good enough to compete for the win, military-wise, because they have a really, really good set. They start in a really rich area, and if they get the north of India kind of soon, I think they actually can, for some time, run away with the game. Because I think in Persia and in Arabia we have two-player nations, but I don't think their ideas stand up to Jungle People. So he can actually go to the Sunni Shia land to conquer stuff there and cool down aggressive expansion on the other side, and vice versa. I think that's his biggest advantage, because right now I think he gobbled up most of the southern Indian continent. And if he finishes off Sindhu, he can just go to hunt the other regions and other religions. And at that point, I think his lead that he already has is enough to beat most other nations in that area. Because overall, I think the only nation in his area who can beat him on a military battlefield may be the Chinese nations. And the Chinese nations are a bit far away and will have a bigger problem early.
Yeah, I mean, like, what, the 400 development Lorraine that just kind of spawned in China with most of China?
China. Yeah.
Well, that was I mean, we're getting better at these segues, I can already tell, because we're now going back to Persia and Arabia. So, Persia, we have, what is that, Nesquix in the, oh God,
Democratic People Republic Kebab.
Custom Nations.
He's like a communist kebab in Persia. And I think he got a cool idea set, nothing out of the window, and it's not the best military-wise, but is a really, really well-rounded set otherwise. It's good economic-wise, and I think he can at least do some serious work when it comes to holding off a big enemy. I think he did a really good job considering how he played the last sessions. I think you can start to see improvement in his playstyle and so on.
Oh, absolutely. I'll agree there wholeheartedly. It's awesome to see, like, Nesquix when he first started with us as Portugal, kind of, like, unsure what he was doing. And then Ceylon, that was just some bad luck. And then now in the custom game, he's growing to be a regional power quite quickly, which is awesome.
Yep,
yeah, I mean, I think he's the strongest nation in the Middle East now. So that's a really big step up. And I'm very impressed with his position right now. I'm looking forward to see how he's doing in the future.
We have
he did a lot of step breaks as well. Yes. He did a lot of step hits as well, because he did no CBs in the early game.
Oh, which is bold.
I think he did 3 no CBs in the early game. It's a bit too much in my eyes, but I think it paid off a bit, because he was far weaker at the beginning of the game. And I think his only real enemy when it comes to expanding player-wise, maybe the Jungle People, because the nation of Taizan, played by Rainshard in Arabia, may be the biggest nation province-wise. Oh no, it's already bested by the Empire of the Rus. But the good ideas of his country are coming way too late if Nesquix is deciding to go ham early game.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I think it'd be cool to see Nesquix just go in for a player war.
And then killing a player. I think it's not out of the window.
No, absolutely not. It's definitely not out of the question at this point.
But I mean, like, they're both allied to each other right now, and Taizan is also allied to the mightiest nation on Earth. Known to man. So, I mean, I think Taizan will be alright there.
I love how Taizan, how Cookie is already hackboxed. Like, this guy is winning the game as Yemen so easily, and now he's scared of the amazing empire of Kartadas that he needs to hackbox. Yeah, I think that's no coincidence. He's scared.
Having 2 allies is a hackbox now. I got it, Swerd.
Having any
Let's see, how many allies does Swerd have? Oh, yeah. 3 allies. Oh, well.
Well, I'm allied with 47 development Bourbonnais. Then I'm allied to a 95 Dev North German Federation, who would otherwise get coalition war to oblivion. And then I'm allied to Wineland with 196 Dev.
Yeah,
Well.
all I hear are excuses. Shall we move on?
Well, you can speak your excuses when I land on your islands and I destroy and kill all your sheeps.
Okay. So with that, shall we move on to Indonesia?
Yeah, we got.
Oh no, we got Khmer Rouge.
Yes, Khmer Rouge.
The nation of Amhoppe.
Yeah, it has a really interesting team, which is essentially like talking about the Cambodian communist regime, the Khmer Rouge, and like their idea descriptions are essentially propaganda from someone on the Khmer side, how they would describe the horrible act by the by the regime. For example, the first one being farmers of the world unite after the mysterious disappearance of 25% of our population during the evacuation of the cities. Every man matters if we are to overthrow the Burgo.
Oh, that's great.
Or henchmen as generals. Every year we hold a contest where loyal officers enter and compete in our national sport, genocide. The winner is then the one that can make the most enemies disappear, and is then promoted as general to our armies. So it's like
that's savage.
A little bit on the savage side, but most of it is in like good fun or yeah.
Yeah, that one's just like
more about mocking the regime than promoting it. I'm fairly confident.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, that's Khmer Rouge. So let's go to China. Cookie, we're saving your nation till last. I mean, what?
Wow.
I would say please clap for Jeb Bush. Because
wait, what?
One of the nations is called Please Clap, and it started out with Prince Jeb Bush. I think the meme may be known to most of the people that Jeb Bush held a speech in the pre-election, in the primary of the Republican Party, and no one was clapping, and he was like, please clap.
I remember that. I was kind of, I felt bad for him because he just like, he looked so depressed afterwards. He's just like, oh.
That's what happens when you're only a good member of a family that is important for the US politics, but you are a bad politician itself.
Makes sense.
Wow.
All right, too much politics. Back to the game. So please clap. What's his idea set centered around?
PoE said, I think.
It's fairly well rounded. He starts out with like some improved relations and aggressive expansion to allow him to blob quicker, also core creation and war score cost, and then goes straight into some fairly strong military bonuses with yearly armor attrition, artillery, and infantry combat ability.
Damn, that's pretty solid.
Should perhaps have been mentioned already, but we outlawed morale and discipline from the ID sets for this campaign to get some slightly more diverse sets. Otherwise, we would see that on every single nation. So
yeah,
far.
Exactly. It wouldn't have been any fun. I was considering going Shinto to get around that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, for example, in HRE have gone Shia, and I don't think it's paid off for them with a different religion getting plus 50% aggressive expansion for everything.
So, in the HRE, it's even worse.
In general, if you annex stuff of another religion, you get plus 50% AE with that religion.
Yeah, but it's even worse because they are in the HRE.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think it's paid off for them so far, but we'll see where they end up eventually.
In the north, we have the Zhao dynasty. I think they are played by Miao.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they had a fairly good set as well, and probably off to a little bit better of a start than Please Clap. Please Clap has expanded more, but they are in quite a bad spot regarding tech and IDs. He ended up in like some fairly messy AI wars on 2 points, while Miao is off to a little bit stronger of a start, and also sports a fairly strong set with a bunch of shock, fire damage, received and reduced, and some infantry combat ability.
Yeah, that sounds pretty powerful. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top of the Chinese Thunderdome, even if it's only 2 nations.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of surrounding nations like Khmer Rouge, Besodils, uh, Omai, Va, Mu,
Omae Mushinderu.
yeah, the Japanese one, and also Mian sheep lovers who could affect the outcome of the battles in China. I think it will be like some fairly interesting engagements here, and a lot of
for
diplomacy
sure.
to decide who comes out on top.
Absolutely. We have, is Leonix still in the game? Because I noticed, like, when I checked the player map mode at the end of the session, he wasn't over in Japan, but I know he started there.
He got internet
Yeah,
problems and disconnected, I think.
yeah, he had
That's what it
internet
was.
problems, but he has every intention to be here next session. So, yeah, he'll be here.
Good.
Hopefully.
Good, it'll
And
make things
yeah,
more interesting out east.
yeah, and his nation's name, which I can't pronounce, is also pretty solid. He has a few land combat benefits, like infantry combat and artillery combat. Mostly is focused around both economic and naval ideas. He has one of the strongest naval sets in the game. If only he wasn't bordering the sheep lovers, it would be really impressive.
Well, I suppose that's as good a segue as any to go talk about said
Oh,
sheep
I've
lovers.
just been
Cookie,
trying to get a segue
do you
to
want to
my
talk for
nation
like
for...
you have 2 minutes? Ready, go.
Oh, 2 minutes. My nation's concept is based around the glorious act of making
Banging
love with
sheeps.
sheep, having a Welsh culture to further the stereotype. And my ID descriptions go in that direction as well, with everything being to protect or to care for or about the inclinations regarding sheep. For example, my last one being sheep equality. Making our cities fit for both sheep and men is a huge undertaking, but necessary to truly make men and sheep equals. We will make this dream a reality, motivated by love. Development cost minus 20%. And my set is probably about as stupid as my descriptions, to be honest. I've sacrificed anything resembling military quality and only used economic and naval benefits in my entire set.
That happens
So
when you
my
make...
army will be a complete joke, and we'll see what I end up doing with this. But at least for now, I'm safe on my islands. You know,
For now.
I
For
don't
now.
see. Yeah, I mean, I think I should be safe on my islands. I just don't see how I can ever take like victory cards on the mainland if they spawn there and stuff like that. So yeah, like winning the game as these guys will be a hard ask, and but yeah, I mean, one can always try.
That's something different, kind of switching up the play style a little bit. I mean, that's kind of what I did as well with my nation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm normally very warmongering and like taking the fight and killing people, and I essentially put myself on a nation where I'm forced to resort to more diplomatic means, if you put it that way.
Literally having like what 70% Diplo ideas.
No, just exactly 50%. I didn't want to go over 50 because it incurred a cost. The rest are admin IDs. I do have 2 things from military set: yearly armor attrition plus 0.5, which essentially just was to balance up the set, and blockade impact on siege plus 1. Which
That's awesome.
isn't quite a military bonus, but it's classified as 1, so I'll take it.
I mean, it kind of helps.
Yeah, I mean, it helps on my islands. I mean, it's actually been like fairly helpful in my early expansion. Sieging down a level 3 fort went a lot quicker with it online. So it's been working out for me so far.
That's pretty solid. You went over the 2-minute mark, but that's fine. I'm just kidding. I don't care.
Sorry.
It's
That
okay.
happens when you're inbreed with sheeps. You may lose the function of time.
Ooh, shots fired.
I accept who I am.
Oh, that's great. Well, real quick,
I should
will,
call PETA. I should call the PETA.
Oh, PETA's getting involved. You mean people eating tasty animals? I'm gonna stop now.
Ah!
All right, real briefly, I will touch on my idea set because I went pretty unique, naval focus, kind of like Cookie and Swerd have done, but it's got a bit of a twist at the end. So I start out with trade efficiency, advisor cost. I didn't name any of these. I do apologize. I made this like about an hour before the game. And then 10% goods produced, 10% heavy ship combat ability, 15% manpower, 10% naval morale, 10% infantry combat ability, 10% trade steering, and 15% global trade power. And the coup de grace, 40% chance to capture enemy ships. I'm a pirate. Your navy will be my navy.
Well,
Yeah, I'm not too worried. My navy is too strong.
You will be when I steal 2/3 of your heavies.
You need to actually win the fight for that.
Oh, that's why I have others. There's a plan in the works. Don't you worry, my friend. Don't you worry.
don't you worry, don't
I
you
think you're
worry.
dead.
Even before Cookie already prepared a counter plan.
Right. Of course.
I have a few counter plans.
I have
counter
another
plans for your counter plans.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll come back next session and see who is thriving and who died horribly.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
For
Cookie
sure.
Aura. So I may talk about my idea set as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I started out with 10% infantry combat ability and 2.5 mercenary discipline. I think in the early game I mostly AI farm, and I think I did that quite okay-ish for my pretty unlucky spawn in Iberia because I fucked up placement of provinces. Then mostly I have my ideas named after Carthaginian or Roman personalities like Hannibal Barca, Gaius Iulius, and stuff like that. I will plan to go reformed. That's why I have the idea Holy Carthaginian Empire, because my nation has the kind of topic and role play that I will only serve the one who is ruling in Rome, and I will only serve the one, no one else. Because I will go religious kind of soon, just to roleplay a bit more and to clean up the American people and convert them to Reformed, the only true faith. Then I have Mare Nostrum meme with my heavy ship combat ability and global naval engagement. And at the finisher, I have the Punic ancestry with the mercenary armies that I have 37.5 additional mercenaries.
Damn.
Trade efficiency as a finisher, where I had a little shot at Cookie and a little Donald Trump meme with the best trade deals in the world, and that I will make Cookie pay for the trade deals.
We better pay for the trade deals.
Like a banter. And as a finisher, I got the Punic ambition of a land force limit modifier of 22.5%. I think most likely I won't have the strongest army in Europe, but I think I can hold off most of the armies, and I will most likely change from Ambrosian Republic to a Merchant Republic, and then just become the money cow of Europe.
Get in line. I mean, what?
I will most likely just produce money. I will get milked for my money because I don't want to do something else. Like, my only goal in this campaign is to somewhat troll Cookie around. And that's it.
I like it. Oh, well.
And I won't need a hack box for it. Like, I already destroyed the hack box in Europe. Trust me. I think we will see 2 player kills in Europe at least.
I could see it.
Even though I'm subbed. Even though I'm subbed, the Skunk will take my place. But I think we will see 2 dead players by the end of the session.
Yeah, one
and
way
I'm quite sure I already know who those 2 people are, because diplomacy happened in Europe a lot. It's a bit sad because I actually like one of the 2 people who will die. Well, maybe it's me as well. Who knows? But it will be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, your guys' top 3 predictions for this season, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this weekly State of the Game podcast.
Okay, I'll go with the Jungle People as my number 1 pick, I think. And then I think I'll go with Lerkan as my number 2. I think both of these are in like really strong positions right now, and also have a lot of free space to expand into. And as a third, it's a bit more uncertain to me. I will go with probably Imperium Romanum, but I think both Windmills and Imperium Romanum are in fairly good positions now with a little bit weaker neighbors and Yes, keeping up on tech and being strong players overall.
Makes
What about
sense.
you, Swerd?
I think the player who will win this campaign will be Imperium Romanum in Italy. I think he got a well-rounded set. The player is really, really good. One of the better players in the community. And I think he will have the edge diplomatic-wise over the other nations. My second place will be the Windmill Nation of PTZ. I think PTZ is skill-wise the second best or the best player in the community. So I think with the combination of his amazing idea set military-wise, he would be a big, big problem for everyone who stands up against him. And for the third spot, I think the third spot is actually a bit more interesting because I think it will come down a lot of what the sheep lovers are actually doing. Because I think Cookie will end up on the third place, but just simply because he won't go to PvP with the first two nations because he will get utterly wrecked by the military difference. I think he can beat them with straight up economy or invading them, but I think if it comes down to an actually fight, windmills are going to completely obliterate him. And I think the Imperium Romanum will kind of do the same. Windmills
Everything
even
will
more.
obliterate my nation, man.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think your navy maybe the best, is the best by far. I think the only navies who are able to match them are Mines and Auris, and I think most of them Mines are a bit better than Auris because they don't have capture ships. But I think my ideas are a bit worse than yours. So I think no one can invade you, but you cannot invade someone else. I think you can pay people to do it, but I think that will be the most interesting stuff because I think windmills may be rich enough to stop everyone around them. And I think I would like to change windmills to first instead of second with Imperium Romanum. I think PTZ will win the game.
Makes sense. I'm going to go similar picks to Cookie. I think Jungle People's going to come out on top. There's very little doubt in my mind that he's just going to steamroll India and everyone around him. Second, I'm actually, I'm going to, you know what? I think we're going to see, it's going to be a toss-up between Empire of the Rus and, what's the nation west of it? Lurkan, yeah. I think it's going to be a toss-up between those two, whoever comes out on top there. And then for my number 3 pick, I'm actually going to go with Nesquix in the Democratic Republic of Kebab. I think he's in a good spot right now, and I'm really excited to see what he can do with his nation, honestly.
At least you have a nice fantasy about, Empire of Rust coming in second.
No, I'm saying it's basically going to, whoever comes out on top in that region is going to literally own all of Eastern Europe.
Yeah, but Empire of Rust is probably like 1,000 ducats in debt right now and about to go bankrupt and implode.
There's a reason I don't look at the save when I do this. It's no fun that way.
The Empire of Rus is... I think they are actually okay-ish, but I think the problem is that they will start to be in a downward spiral. They got a pretty bad luck with rulers dying early on. And I think, I don't know, I think Dutch can actually stall that out, but I think he won't win a war, because I usually see the problem with Dutch, that Dutch is not doing enough diplomacy. I think he's doing a far better job than I thought he would do, considering the circumstances. I think that's really good. It's a nice improvement. But I think if he wants to survive, he needs to do some serious diplo. I think with the Greek Knights, because Kwisatz is most likely going to decide the winner of Lerkan or the Empire of the Rus.
I'm going to go with this. I would rather play a 50 dev nation and be on par on tech than playing the Emperor of Rust right now. He's 556 in tech, and he's actually closer to 2,000 ducats in depth.
And there's a reason. This is why I don't look at the save, because it doesn't make
going
it nearly as much fun.
Going minus 18 ducats a month.
18.
Oh, wow.
With a total income of 21. I don't want to call things, but if Lurkan and Empire of Rust go against each other, I think the Emperor of Rust will just collapse immediately.
It'll be interesting to see either way. But on that note, we do have to go ahead and wrap up today's State of the Game podcast. So once again, I want to thank you, Cookie, and you, Swert, for joining me here today. It's been an absolute pleasure, gentlemen.
thank you for having us. Ori.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, anytime. So if you guys have enjoyed this podcast, please do remember to drop a like down below, as it really helps the channel out, and subscribe for more grand strategy content in the future. Also, if you are interested in joining the Greenskin Gaming Discord, please do message myself, Swert, or Cookie on Discord. I will throw links to the I'll throw the profile names down in the description, so if you guys are interested, do message one of us. All right, on that note, guys, we are wrapping things up. So, as always, thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye.